Hey, what's up, you guys? We got UFC Vegas 25. We got Reyes versus PROCHAZKA. And Dominick Reyes, we're familiar with him. He's only lost to champions, which is kind of interesting. He's only lost to John Jones and Jan, if I'm not mistaken. And we're familiar with those fights. He had the broken nose and possibly broken ribs and whatnot. I think he's healed from that, and I think he's kind of underrated right here. In fact, I'm gonna sprinkle some money on him as well. And he's apparently only got the 1 inch height advantage, but other than that, Yuri's got him on 3 years age, 3 inches reach, and possibly 1 inch height. A couple different websites say Reyes, a couple of websites say Yuri, so I'm gonna go with probably Yuri on this one. And Dominick Reyes is gonna have the better striking. Yuri has negative striking, and he got tagged quite a bit against No Time Ozdemir. And he has been finished 3 times as well. But you know what? He KOs people. He's got 24 KOs, and that's in this nasty high kick. His knockout, he kind of faked like a low kick, but then he went high with it, and it was nasty, man. It was nasty. I don't think this fight's gonna escape the. I don't think it's gonna go to decision, especially not with both of these heavy hitters. I think that Dominick Reyes is gonna have the better volume in this fight. And his leg kicks are just so good that I think it'll slow down the wonky movements of Yuri, and Reyes will eventually tag him that way, especially with just the style of Yuri, and then mixed in with slowing down. I think the fundamentals are going to beat the flash here. And like I said, he gets tagged a lot, and I think he might go down, and he might get knocked out in this one. So Dominick Reyes. All right, in the next fight, we got the co-main Cub Swanson versus Giga Chikadze. And Cub here, he's 5-5 of his last 10, and Giga is 8-2. And in Giga, I see a rising star in this guy. You know, I think a lot of us do. But Cub is going to have the volume advantage here. You know, in his last 5 fights, he's basically doubled the volume of Giga Chikadze. He's got the better striking by barely, according to the numbers, you know. He's got the takedown advantage. But he can be tapped. You know, he can be tapped. Cub can. He's got, like I said, Cub has double the volume. He has the striking barely, the takedown, but he can be tapped. And he's a little undersized. You know, he's undersized. But he does have that volume. Recently, he's only beat a Can and a BJJ Gracie. So, what does that really tell you? You know? And Giga's a rising star. He's got 5 years of youth, 5 inches height, 4 inches reach. You know, so I'm going to go with Giga in this one. Make it simple. I think the rising star and Cub's going to fade a little bit, and we're going to see it in this fight. All right, in the next fight, we got a light heavyweight fight. We got Cutelaba, who's 6 years younger than Dustin Jacoby. And Jacoby, man, he's been in there a while. He's been in there since before Reebok and stuff like that. He's going to have double the volume of Ion, according to the numbers, in his last 5 fights. But Ion hits a lot harder than him. And I think that Ion is good despite his antics. He also has the takedown threat as well. And I noticed in the tape that Dustin doesn't have a good defense. He just gets tagged and tagged and tagged. And I can just see Ion. I usually don't like to bet guys with a lot of losses, but I'm going to go with Ion Cutelaba in this one. Even though Dustin has 1 inch height advantage and a 1 inch reach advantage on him, I'm going to go with Cutelaba. All right, in the next fight, we got Strickland versus Jacko. And Strickland's going to have double the volume in this fight, according to his last 5 fights. He's going to have a 1 year youth advantage on him, a barely on the striking, and these guys are going to keep it on the feet. And these guys also have a similar record, so this should be a good fight. I believe that Sean's just going to be a little bit better everywhere than Jacko. And I don't like Jacko's head movement, really, especially not against Strickland. And Strickland's a rising star. You know, he might already be a star. He's just not a very well-known name to a casual person, I'd say. But Strickland in this one, to make it simple. All right, in the next fight, we got Merab Dvalishvili versus Cody Stamann. Now, both these guys are good and fairly even and good at wrestling and whatnot. Similar striking, but Merab is better. He also has the takedown advantage. He has 1 year youth. And these guys are about the same size, but Cody has a little bit more weight and is used to a higher weight class. And he does have the better record. But Merab has a 3.5-inch reach advantage. And I think that's going to play a big factor in this, especially if they're both doing similar things. I think the guy with the reach is going to have, an easier time out there. And Merab's a beast, man. He's just a beast. He's like a machine, for real. So let's go with Merab. All right, the next one, we got a women's flyweight fight. We got Paula Botello versus Luana Carolina. Now, Luana didn't look too good in her last fight. She got starched by the Violence Queen, Ariana Lipski. But Lipski looked a little suspect in the steroid department, and maybe that threw Luana off, and she went down. It was a strange fight. But Paula, we've seen her before. She's got negative striking. She's going to have about half the volume of Luana, but she's going to have the 2-inch height advantage, and she has more wins than her, but she has more losses than her as well. And Luana just, people don't have a lot of trust in her, but I think in this fight she's going to show a better showing of herself. And she does have good striking, and she also has a submission threat and twice the volume. So I think this one's going to be Luana all day here. All right, in the next fight, we got Randymarcos versus Luana Pinero. Randymarcos has been here a long time. She sucks. She's a bum. She's a can journey woman, but she does have the 1-inch height advantage and the 1-inch reach advantage and the experience advantage and the boob advantage. No, I'm just kidding. But she does have the takedown and submission advantage as well. So she's always game to be in there, and I guess that's why they leave her in there as a damn heavy bag of sorts, training device. But she has a negative striking, and you can't put your money on Randymarcos you can, but I'm not going to. And Luana has a 7-year age advantage in this one. And if you saw her in the Contender Series, she went beast mode, man. She went beast mode on her. And people are saying she's the next Ronda Rousey, and her striking is really good numbers. I'm going to go with Luana in this one. All right, in the next one, we got Gabriel Benitez versus Jonathan Pierce. And I see a lot of people taking Gabriel Benitez, and I get why. I totally get why. One second. But I'm going to go with Jonathan Pierce in this one because he has 4 years youth advantage, 5 inches in height. He's going to have the better volume here. He's going to have the better striking, and he's going to have the takedown. I don't really like how he pulls guard sometimes, but maybe that's just because he feels comfortable there. And Gabriel Benitez, he has been used to bigger guys. All right, if you count I think he's taken one fight at 155. But he does have the submission threat, and that does scare me against Jonathan Pierce. But I'm going to go Jonathan Pierce in this one. All right, in the next one, we got Kamaka versus TJ Brown. And I'm going to go with, I'm going to tell you first. Kamaka has about the best volume on this entire card. And he's going to have a 4-year youth advantage against TJ Brown. But in this one, TJ Brown's going to have 2 inches of height, 3 inches of reach, but the better striking, according to the numbers, the better takedown, according to the numbers, but just less volume. Now, if it goes to decision, I'm a little bit worried about the volume part of that. And I'm also worried about TJ Brown's chin. He's chinny, and he can get subbed. I think Kamaka is the better fighter here. He's going to have the volume and possibly the power, but I can just see TJ Brown getting a decision here somehow. I wrote pass on here, but I'm going to go with TJ Brown. All right, the next fight, we got Luma Lookboonmee versus Sam Hughes. And Luma, we're used to her. She's kind of this rising star that we see that they're trying to grow and whatnot. She had a bad fight against, was it Angela Hill? Did she win that fight or lose that fight? I can't remember. But I remember she didn't look as good in that one. But she is going to look good in this one because she has double the volume. They're kind of setting her up with Sam Hughes so that she can get KO'd because that girl has negative striking and she's been KO'd. Sam Hughes does have the height advantage and reach advantage by about 3 inches each. That's about it. Luma Lookboonmee is going to have a 3-year youth advantage and just the overall better striking. I think this is a setup fight for Luma, so I'm going to go with her. All right, the next fight, we got Andrei Michailidis versus KB Bular. And KB did not look good in his fight, man. He did not look good in his last fight. Maybe it was the jitters, maybe it was something. But he does have a 3-year youth advantage, a 3-inch height advantage, a 2-inch reach advantage. But Tom Brady smoked this dude. And he has been KO'd recently, So it is kind of, it's tough to put, I couldn't see putting my money on him, that's for sure. And Andres Michailidis, you know, he had that fight with Modestas Bukauskas. Is that who it was? With the elbows and whatnot. I just watched that, and that was a strange ending with the cage and all that. I don't know what was up with that. But this guy is kind of chinny. He's been KO'd 4 times. Apparently, he's going to have the better striking here. I don't know. He's got a nice low kick. I think you have to go with Andres Michailidis just based on what we've seen so far. But he does have the advantages, and maybe if he can pull his head out of his ass on this fight, he can figure it out. All right, in the last fight, we got Luke Sanders versus Felipe Colares. And Luke Sanders is the better striker here by quite a bit. Felipe is actually a negative striker, but he does have the takedown and submission threat. And he's going to have the better record here as well. And I think if it's a dirty fight, I think that Felipe is he could win this one on decision or submission. He also has a 2-inch reach or height advantage. 2-inch height advantage and 8 years youth advantage. But Luke Sanders has been there before, and I believe his volume is going to be better. And if this is a clean fight, I think Luke Sanders wins. But this is a lot of these are back and forth, and I'm going to have to go with Sanders on this one, though. So that's that. I hope we win some money, and good luck.